Right, good morning everyone, it's 10:30. Welcome to the Shareholder Committee of the Dorset Centre of Excellence on Monday the 11th of March. My goodness, the year's moving along. Apologies, we haven't got any apologies. I think we're all here, aren't we?
Yes,
Kate? Yeah, thank you. Minutes of the last meeting, are we all content? I will take silence as a yes. I would just point out one item. I think it was taken away as an action to do with the remunerations policy. It doesn't actually require approval. So with that slight alteration, Kate, we can accept the minutes as drafted. Okay. Right, declaration of interest. Again, silence is fine. Public participation, I don't think we have any public today, Kate, do we? No? Councillor questions, have we got any? No, we're doing well here. Right, let's move into the forward plan. What have we got here today? The usual, there's the usual setup of meetings coming forward. I don't think we need to dwell on those too long. We just need to accept the forward plan. If anybody's got anything they want to add to it, then tell me or amend. If not, I'll take silence as an agreement. Thank you. So we now go to the Shareholder Committee Commissioner's report. Right.
Good morning. So Claire Webb, Strategic Commissioner for Education. So the report summarises the continued position of strength, really. So the points I'd draw your attention to are we're on track for pupil growth numbers for the spring term. We've got plans in place down to class level plans which are being finalised. And we're also on track for the summer term numbers of 116. The Enhanced Cooperation Agreement, as outlined in a couple of the reports now, is very much in the light touch position, and in the summer term we're going to review that position and subject to teacher recruitment being in place for September, which is the large growth period, and also improvements post Ofsted being embedded, then we'll be seeking to cease that agreement. I think the other points to note are in terms of the planned growth programme that continues to be overseen by the DECO Commissioning Group, and the reworked lease, which are both crucial for delivery of the business plan, are both on track.
Questions? Anyone? I'm being met with silence this morning. Well, if I'm going to get silence, I'm going to say something, aren't I? What I would say is I think this is, again, another example of the steady progress that's being made. Huge compliments to everyone involved in making this a success that it is, and you should all be really pleased with the effort and the things that are coming through on this. And I heard you say 116 young people by the summer, which is again another progression in the direction we want to go and in line with the business planning and so on. So if there aren't any other questions, I think the recommendation is that we note the progress. You happy to note? Again, I'll take silence as an agreement. Okay, thank you very much. We now go on to agenda item 8, report for Chair of the Board.
So Ian Comfort, Chair of the Board for Dorset Centre of Excellence. As an overview, I'm always pleased to be able to say that I'm blessed by having a really great board of directors to work with. And secondly, blessed to have a great executive and staff at Dorset Centre of Excellence. And to endorse what you've just said, we're pleased that we are making steady progress towards our objectives. So in general, I'm very, very pleased about how things are happening at the present time. As in the past, I'm going to ask Andy just to give any further information regarding the school itself and the commercial activities, and maybe an update on staffing. And then Diane, who chairs our Finance Committee, can deal with business plan implementation and finance at the present time.
Yeah, so Andy Holder, Managing Director of the Dorset Centre of Excellence. My input here is really going to mirror the summary given by Claire a few moments ago. The school continues to run well, it's stable and quality is strong and improving. We're on track with our growth targets, and colleagues will remember from the business plan that we're approaching the biggest jump in growth, both in terms of our pupil numbers and our staff. And in both of those cases, we're progressing well. So we're a little way off that September moment where those numbers come to fruition, but we are on track and preparations are well underway to make sure that we manage that transition well. Leadership continues to be a strength as we move towards the schools within a school model. We are developing our leadership structure so that each part of the site that operates not separately, but in separate departments, if you will, have robust leadership in their own right to make sure that the teachers have the support and the support staff have the support that they need, and therefore the pupils have their needs met. Things continue to progress all the time. I particularly pick out the development of our pupil voice since the last time we met. Our school council is now well established, and it has been fantastic to hear their views and to be able to respond to some of their ideas about how to make the school even better. So we're very proud that's developed since last time. Whilst I'm not going to necessarily read them out in the report, there are a couple of examples of feedback. We're regularly getting feedback from stakeholders, and we've put a few in there for you to see just as a sample. Moving on to the commercial activity that's separate to the school, the work we're doing to develop our leisure facilities and particularly our swimming pool continues to go well. The community swimming club is going from strength to strength, and we're looking to add more sessions, and we've recently added an evening session which has gone down really, really well. We are also really excited with the plans for the residential social care opportunities within the business plan, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later. We've talked about bringing a new business plan for that in June, so that we can really push that on. And we're currently consulting and liaising and working in partnership with council colleagues just to make sure that as we progress that plan, that we're doing it in a way that best meets the needs of the council as a commissioner, and making sure that we're meeting their needs and the needs of the children and young people that they're identifying. There's a small note in the report about business rates. We're working with Wiltshire Council and also the Valuation Office just to clarify the business rates liabilities for the site, just to make sure that as we progress with the various commercial activities that we have planned, that we're doing that in a way that takes account of what those rates are and therefore are optimally commercially positive for everybody. We're progressing with the implementation of the business plan. We're really grateful to the council for the progress that's been made with the commissioning agreement and the lease. I don't know whether Diane, my colleague, wants to talk a little bit about that.
Thank you, Andy. Yes, Diane Grinnell, Chair of the Finance Audit and Risk Committee. We have got the business plan today, and that was an exercise which was largely based on the work that we did last summer. So what you can see in front of you today is very similar. Sorry, it's very similar to the plan which came to you in June. One of the things that we have been able to do as we've moved through since last summer is to get greater clarity over certain elements of our cost base and our income base. As Andy just referred to, we've been doing a lot of work on the lease agreement and the commissioning agreement. We've been working very positively with officers in the council. I think we now have a version of the commissioning agreement which is final and ready for sign-off. The lease agreement, which is much more complex, has lots more elements, it has made good progress, and particularly in the last couple of months we feel that's moving now towards a position where we will be able to get sign-off on that. And that's really important for us because some of those assumptions which are in the business plan use those two draft agreements, and should there be any significant variance, it does throw a lot of different elements of the plan up in the air. But we're feeling relatively confident now that we've got much greater certainty over our cost base, and therefore we can plan for the future on a much more solid basis.
Moving on to just a summary about HR and people. We've done quite a lot of work engaging with our staff team since our last committee meeting, looking at how well they feel supported in the workplace, their engagement in their roles. And we're really pleased with the results of that. Not only is it showing us that our engagement scores are above the national average as the control set that we're comparing ourselves to, but we're also pleased that it's giving us really strong data and ideas about how to make things even better. So those processes are proving very useful. And as I alluded to at the start when I was referring to the school, preparations are really in play now and are robust to make sure that we meet the very significant recruitment challenge that we've got coming up for the start of the September 24 academic year. But as I've said already, that's going well. There's a section in the report about the capital investment and the way that the site is receiving ongoing investment to make sure that we can meet the requirements of the business plan. It's been helpful to work in collaboration with the council, who are supporting and working with us on that. And the plans that are coming through are looking extremely positive from our perspective. The last note I made to summarise from the report, given that you will have all read it, is just to say that the commercial and financial elements of the business plan at this stage are positive. We are ahead of the budget that we set for this financial year, and we're also looking very strong and positive in comparison to the mid-year reforecast, which was an enhancement on the budget. So in that regard, we'll be able to give you much more clarity next time. But it's looking very positive. Happy to take questions.
Before you do that, so I just wonder if I could just sum up as well and go back to the start of our report, and that is, and it's been mentioned, I think, a few times, is that we are grateful for the continued support and quite good, excellent support we get from Dorset Council and its staff to help us progress this organisation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, all three of you, for your report. Again, it reflects what we heard earlier. I think the real progress has been made and being made, and it does augur well for the future. I feel that, and I think the key thing for me is that there's that constant learning going on. It's that reflection back from staff to make sure that there are things that you can do better, then you are doing them better. And I think that's a reflection on the attitude you've got as an organisation to get that exemplar outcome that I think we're all striving towards. So all credit to you for what you've done. Comments, questions? No, we're all stunned into silence. I know it's Laura.
Yeah, thank you. Just to say thank you for the inclusion from the examples of feedback on page 22. I think, have I got the right item? I was scanning through feedback from parents and carers. It was really nice to see that included, and really nice to see that, you know, people are responding and taking the time to respond and say that they've had a really positive experience. So just a comment, really.
Thank you, Laura. Anyone else? If not, we've got two parts to the recommendation. One is to note the content report, and the other one was the chair is also asked to agree the 2024 business plan as set out in para 7 of the report. I'll take silence as agreement. We have agreement. Good stuff. Right. Let's move on to urgent items. There aren't any today. Item 10, which is we need to go into exempt business. So can I have a proposer to go into exempt business, please?
Proposed, Chairman.
Byron Quell proposes. Have a seconder, Laura Beddow. So we're going to exempt business, all agreed. We just wait for the technology to say yes, that's fine.